Hey, this is Zersty, and I just want to show you my new Barb build. It's working really well for me, and it's different from my old build, definitely. So, just show you here. I actually took a bit of advantage from a previous Barbarian Build who recommended overpower. So I was trying to see how to work overpower into my build, and this is what I came up with. So this build is quite lightning damage orientated. As you can see, Frenzy, Whirlwind, and Overpower, all lightning. The reason I have Frenzy is because on the likes of bounty bosses, Nephilim bosses, and general elite packs, Frenzy comes in really well when you might struggle with Fury generation when you're using Whirlwind, so it's really nice. Also, it has a stun on it, and the lightning damage, of course, will stack. Whirlwind, lightning damage, normal wind shear for Fury generation. So then we've got Overpower. Overpower with the Killing Spree rune, which whenever Overpower is activated, your critical hit chance is increased by 8% for 5 seconds. This is especially good because Overpower's cooldown has a chance to be reduced by 1 second every time you crit. So it works really well, especially you're constantly using Whirlwind, and those crits are just coming out really fast. My crits on Whirlwind are between about 1.2 mil and 8 million, so really good. So I'll just, as you can see, these I have Wrath of the Berserker with Insanity. As opposed to Insanity, this is all personal preference, but you can use Slaughter instead, which has your critical hits have a chance to cause an eruption of blood, dealing 300% weapon damage to enemies within 15 yards. This is especially good if you use Wrath of Berserker for AoE clearing. For me, however, I generally use Wrath of Berserker for elite kills, for elite packs, Nephilim bosses, bounty bosses, etc. So I like this 50% increased damage. It's really, really nice, and just has more of general purpose on the way I use it, but definitely. On top of that, I also use Battle Rage with Bloodshed. What Bloodshed does is every time you critical hit, it causes an explosion dealing 20% of the damage. So that means 20% of your crit is dealt. So I don't crit as low as 1 mil, but if it's 1 mil, then you're talking about 200,000 damage to everyone around that enemy. So it's really, really good. On top of this, I also use Weapons Master, and that's because I use a mace and an axe in main hand. This is especially good because A, you're going to want a slow weapon in your main hand, and B, that adds 5% critical hit chance, and this build is a lot around critical hit chance and critical hit damage, as well as lightning damage. So I also use Bloodthirst. This is for sustainability. Now, people don't really seem to think that life per fury spent is good, but it is especially good, and that's because this is 578. It seems quite low, but also your heal amount is increased by 1% off your health club bonus. So I'll quickly go on to my character itself. Now, my damage doesn't seem all that high, 858,000, doesn't seem that much, but that's because I changed bracers around, was it these previous bracers? So that's 870. So it works differently. I'll actually show you with the modifier. So if I put on Battle Rage, there's 998,000. That's essentially 1 mil. So yeah, I did have 1 mil before, but I went for these bracers because that 18% lightning damage is really good. Think about it: your Overpower, your Wind Shear, your Overpower, your Whirlwind, and your Frenzy all use lightning damage, and this is going to stack really well. Your main output of damage is lightning damage, so this is really good. What I was speaking about health club bonus is that I've got 69k, so that adds on top 698 life per fury spend. So my life per fury spends 1.7k. This is really, really good, and it's really good for sustainability. Now, I also want to mention that I have Brawler. That means if you're around 3 enemies, which are going to be a lot, your damage is increased by 20%. That means I'm walking around with about 1 mil 250,000 damage, and that causes my crits to be with Whirlwind to be about 1.2 mil to 8 million, which is really good. This is currently Torment 2. I can actually do Torment 3 with Bill, which I probably should show, but it's gonna go with this. So let's head somewhere. Where's nice? Yeah, let's go here. So this build, I found is very nice, and the reason Overpower is so good is because it doesn't have a cast animation. You just use it, so you can use it while spinning, like this. See? And another really good thing is you're going to be around enemies a lot, and you're going to be hitting a lot of enemies with your Whirlwind. So if I use Overpower, you know, the cooldown is just keep going down because you keep critting and you keep hitting things. So it's especially good. Here we've got an elite pack. You know, this Torment 2, that elite pack's essentially gone. And there's 2 of them left. Overpower again, it's damage. Odin's Son, which I have, should show you. My Odin's Son has 18% lightning damage on it. This is really good because you know, you're going to keep stacking that lightning damage. Plus Odin's Son has a 29% chance to cause chain lightning. This crits for about the same as my Whirlwind, so between 1.2 mil and 8 mil. It's really good, and that stacks with the lightning damage because it's a lightning damage output, so it's really good. I also want to show you my crit hit chance. That's buffed. My battle rage gives me 3%, so I'm about 52% without the buff. Anything around 50, you know, you can go 48%, 49, 50. Anything around 50 is good, really good. With Overpower, of course, up to 63%. That's a lot of crits there, and 567% crit hit damage. That's really nice. On top of this, I've also got an extra 14% Whirlwind damage done on my boots, and it works excellently. So we'll just find some more mobs if we can. So as you can see, you don't really need to do much. Those are quite low health enemies, I think. So we'll find this guy. There we go. Oh, Fire Chain's my favorite. But as you see, I'll show you with Wrath of the Berserker. So I'm around 3 enemies. That's 1.164 mil. Wrath of the Berserker, you're up to 2195, and it's really good. Overpower, talking 2.4 for that 5 seconds. Now, Overpower has a good thing because if you're hitting enough guys and you get, if you keep hitting enough guys, that cooldown is just going to go straight down, and you're just going to keep able to use it over and over again. So I think it's really, really nice. But as you can see, this is the sort of damage I do in this Torment 2. Torment 3 is also quite comfortable, but this is extremely comfortable. Definitely good. This build has worked really well for me, and I find that it's really good for both sustainability and for damage. As you can see, my toughness unbuffed is 5.5 mil, but you always use your buff. Like, there's no barbarian that doesn't use buff, or well, I haven't met one yet, and that puts up to 7.2. So if you've got 7 mil or more toughness, you will be fine, especially for Torment 2, and shouldn't have any problem. So as you can see, just pure lightning damage around, and this is working really well for me so far. Farming is incredibly easy, and you know, my gear's not incredibly good, sorry. But with this build, it works really well, and you know, it's just a matter of getting the right things. This build can also be used without the extra lightning damage. You know, don't think because you don't have the extra lightning damage that it won't work. It works just as well. I was actually using this before I had as much extra lightning damage. I just had the Odin's Son before. So yeah, definitely come comment below. Tell me, you know, do you have any suggestions, like how this build could be better, or do you want to try it out, and then, you know, tell me how you find this build to be. But definitely thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed.